Hello, hi. My name is Deasia Monet. I am a makeup artist and licensed esthetician from Atlanta, Georgia, by way of Birmingham, Alabama. I am also the founder and CEO of Makeup and Ministry, and I was asked to share my story with you guys, my story of being homeless. I just wanted to share a little bit about what I've gone through and the different things that I experienced being homeless. So, 6 years ago, almost 6 years ago, in August of 2014, I became homeless. I actually became homeless in June of 2014, and I lived in a hotel for 2 months. And then, towards the end of August, I ran out of money, and I no longer had any, I completely had nowhere to live, and my time in the hotel was up. I actually became homeless due to me being diagnosed with a condition called Crohn's disease. I've suffered with that condition since I was 18 years old. I am now 44. And so I've dealt with this condition for over almost 20 years, or right at 20 years now. So I've had a total of 6 surgeries. And so this last stint, I became really ill because I do suffer with bouts of when you have anybody that has Crohn's disease, you get what's called flare-ups because it's an attack on your digestive GI it's an attack on your gastro or your GI tract, because I can't pronounce that big old word. So anyway, it's an attack on your GI tract, and it can affect anything from your mouth to your anal area. And so for me, it attacks my stomach area, my digestive, my intestinal system really, really bad. And so I have actually had a total of 6 surgeries, and I suffer, I live with half a colon, and I also have a fourth of my small intestines was removed. So I tend to get sick often, a lot. I have to watch what I eat and different things of that nature. So anyway, this my last stint in the hospital, I became really ill, and where I was working, I was freelancing as a makeup artist, but I was also working as a makeup artist for Elizabeth Arden, and so I had been with them for quite some time. And so becoming ill on this last stint, my recovery process took so long, my position couldn't be saved, and I couldn't take my clients. So it caused me to lose my home, and I lost my entire home, including furniture and everything that was in my house, including clothes. So pretty much everything that was in my home, I lost it. And so my son and I, who was 16 at the time, we ended up living with friends for a little while, then in a hotel. Then I ended up having to go back home to Alabama, moving into a homeless shelter. And I lived in that homeless shelter for 6 months. And during this time, I was devastated, and I didn't know how to feel. I didn't know what to think. But it is so crazy how God can have a plan for you and you not even see it. So believe it or not, your worst time can end up being the best thing that ever happened to you. And as I was entering this shelter, literally with nothing, because we had lost everything, my son and I moved into that shelter with maybe a couple bins and some garbage bags of stuff. I had only 2 pair of shoes, a couple pair of pants, and a couple shirts. Like, I really didn't have a wardrobe. I really didn't have clothes because we lost everything. And for the first week in the shelter, I cried. Literally, I cried for 7 days straight because I could not understand what was happening to me, and the fact that God had me to go back home to Alabama after being in Atlanta for almost 20 years. Like, I just couldn't fathom. I couldn't understand, why is this happening to me? Why do I have to go through this? Or I was feeling like I had did something wrong. But I mean, even though I knew it wasn't my fault, I mean, my condition wasn't my fault, but at the time I felt like so many different things was my fault. And it wasn't easy on my son either. So the crazy thing again, like I said, God can set you up and you're not even aware that you're being set up for a blessing. And so while in the shelter, um, this process, believe it or not, I discovered my purpose, being homeless, because I always knew I was called to ministry, but I didn't want to be in ministry. But sometimes you can't run from the things that has destined for you to do in your life. And that was a part of God's plan for my life, was for me to be able to kind of sit and get quiet and try to figure everything out and understand why this happened the way that it happened. But the crazy thing about it is, being homeless, it led me to my purpose, and I discovered who I was, or who God had truly called me to be in that shelter. And in that shelter, everything that God told me that I was going to do, he spoke to me and started telling me different things, which was so crazy. But I started having dreams and different ideas and visions, and different things started to come to me. In the lowest place of my life, vision came, and inspiration came, and purpose came. And I began to write, and I began to actually see what I wanted to do. And God took my gift as a makeup artist and showed me all the things that I was going to take my gift and do. And at this point, I had already been working as a makeup artist for a little over 25 years. I'm coming up on my 30th year as a makeup artist. I've been doing makeup since I was 15. And so God took my gift and my work as a makeup artistry and completely catapulted it to another level. God actually gave me a platform. I gained a platform from being homeless. And now I have gone from moving out of a homeless shelter into my home. I was able to revamp my life, get a hold of my life, think about what I really, 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 really wanted to do. And so in that shelter, in those 6 months, I saved over $3,000. And I moved out of that shelter into a 4-bedroom, 2-bath home. And God blessed me with a new house with brand new furniture. I got brand new everything, literally. So everything that I lost the year before, I got it all back, plus more. And it was brand new. It wasn't a hand-me-down. It wasn't anything given to me. Like, God moved me into a beautiful home with brand new furniture, brand new curtains. Like, everything was literally brand new. And in that, because I was staying in the shelter through a program through the YWCA, they chose me as a success story. And they did a write-up on me, and then I was asked to start doing different campaigns, working with the United Way. And I'm now starting makeup and ministry after I left the shelter. Being homeless led me to start makeup and ministry. And I now work with women and girls who suffer from rejection, depression, and low self-esteem by teaching true beauty from the inside out. So God actually married me as a makeup artist and my becoming a minister. He married the two and took my skills as a makeup artist and taught me how to apply biblical principles to them to go back and help women and young girls. And so the girl just 6 years ago who was living in a homeless shelter now goes back to these shelters. And I went back to different women's shelters and different outreach ministries, and I now speak to women who are recovering drug addicts and who's been homeless and who have been raped and suffered with domestic abuse. I now go back and speak to those women, and I counsel those women. I became a self-esteem coach. I wrote my own 6-week coaching program to where I now help women who have been through the same things that I've been through get their life back. But also figure out who they are, get back to the core and the root of who they are, and help them to discover their purpose. And so I literally help them build their lives back up to become the greatest person in people that they can be. One of the things that I learned, and I tell people and they laugh at me because they say, how can you say being homeless was the greatest thing? It was the most blessed thing that could have happened to me, because had I not been homeless, I wouldn't be where I am today. I wouldn't have never discovered what my purpose was. And that pain that I went through from being homeless, it birthed my purpose. And I've now become a speaker and a writer, and I'm in the process of writing my first book. And I've taught workshops and different classes, and I've done seminars, and I've sat on panel discussions. I was in 2017, I was chosen to be the closing keynote speaker for the Housing Works program, which is an initiative in Mobile, Alabama, that helps with homelessness. So it is the most amazing thing that, due to everything that I've gone through, it literally birthed something. And nobody could have told me in a million years that the worst thing that could happen in your life could actually end up being the most blessed thing that can happen in your life. And so that's the thing that I have, and that's my story. And I hope that it blesses someone. I hope that this helps somebody to understand that even if you're going through being homeless, or you may be sleeping in your car, you may be in a shelter, or you may be sleeping on a friend's floor or a family member's couch like I was 6 years ago, understand that your situation does not define who you are. It is just what it is, a situation. And you are still great. You are still amazing. What happens to you doesn't define who you are. It's just part of your story. It's part of the plan. It's part of the process to help you to get to the greatness of everything that God has destined you to be. So I hope that this has helped someone. I hope that this is giving you some type of inspiration, because I do everything I can to let people know that there is hope. Don't give up. Don't think that your life is over because you don't have a roof over your head. That's just a part of your story. And your story is going to bless someone, and it's going to help someone the same way my story did. So I hope that this has been a blessing for somebody. And I thank you guys for listening. And I wish you nothing but the best. Bye.